Good morning. I want to speak directly to New Yorkers who have for too long been misled and misinformed about the true state of our city's finances. I will be blunt. New York City is facing a serious fiscal crisis. There is a massive fiscal deficit in our city's budget to the tune of at least $12 billion. We did not arrive at this place by accident. This crisis has a name and a chief architect. In the words of the Jackson 5, it's as easy as ABC. This is the Adams budget crisis. In 2025, under the banner of what he called the best budget ever, former Mayor Eric Adams handed the next administration a poisoned chalice. He systematically underbudgeted services that New Yorkers rely on every single day: rental assistance, shelter, and special education, while quietly leaving behind enormous gaps for the future. And knowing his time in office was likely coming to an end, Mayor Adams chose political self-preservation over fiscal responsibility. This is not just bad governance, it is negligence. And now the responsibility falls upon us to protect working New Yorkers from paying the price. We expected for months that when we entered City Hall, we would likely inherit a grim fiscal situation. Many of the journalists here reported about an imbalance during the Adams years. Yet once we looked under the hood, the full picture was staggering. However, Eric Adams is not the only reason we are here. For over a decade, as he governed from Albany, former Governor Andrew Cuomo extracted our city's resources, using our revenue to address state-level holes while withholding from the city what it was owed. The result is a stunning fiscal imbalance. New Yorkers contribute 54.5% of state revenue and receive only 40.5% back. No part of this state gives more and gets less in return than New York City. While we did not create this crisis, we will solve it, and we will do so without balancing the budget on the backs of working people. Now, I want to walk New Yorkers through the nuances of this crisis that we must contend with. Here, you can see former Mayor Adams' projected budget gaps, as well as the projections prepared by City Controllers Lander and Levine, as well as State Controller DiNapoli. These projections were formed independently, but they tell the same story. We are still reviewing the city's fiscal health ourselves, but our early analysis is in line with their findings. And the story that those findings tell is clear. The Adams administration dramatically and intentionally understated the problem. The budget gaps are twice as high year after year. Notably, Mayor Adams underestimated known budget expenses so he could show fiscal year 2026 was balanced. These are not differences in opinion between accountants. They are measured to the tune of more than $7 billion beyond what he published. We are dealing with vast figures and statistics that can often feel intangible. I want to place them into a historical context so that the scale of the crisis is clear to New Yorkers. For reference, the budget gaps we are facing today are higher than they were at the height of the Great Recession. And when compared to the pre-pandemic 10-year average, some of these projected deficits are over 300% higher. This is not business as usual. This is a historic challenge, and it demands an honest response. Time and again, Adams kicked the can of responsibility down the road. Last year, when he laid out his January and May financial plans, he not only failed to budget sufficiently, he ignored projections that indicated major expenses would rise in years to come. These expenses not only totaled nearly $8 billion, they're on an upward trajectory. And still, former Mayor Adams refused to incorporate them, leaving a massive $3 billion hole in fiscal year 2026. The budgetary choices he made in the past have consequences that we reckon with today, with ripple effects extending into the years to come. Former Mayor Adams made the repeated, deliberate choice to underbudget. It was a pattern. He budgeted $860 million for cash assistance this fiscal year, but current estimates are $1.625 billion, nearly double what he had accounted for. He budgeted $1.47 billion for shelter costs this fiscal year, but current estimates reflect an additional unaccounted for $500 million. He budgeted paltry fractions of what was actually required, undermining the city's ability to fulfill its promises. These are not optional services. They are critical responsibilities of city government. Let's talk about the state and city imbalance. In fiscal year 2022, New York City sent $68.8 billion in revenue to Albany and received $47.6 billion back. That is more than a gap. It is a $21.2 billion chasm, and it can no longer be sustained. It is measured in city schools that could have more teachers, parks that could have more staff, playgrounds that could be built across the 5 boroughs. That $21.2 billion gap occurred because over the decade Governor Cuomo was in office, the state saw our city as a place from which wealth could be extracted without recognizing the needs of that same place. New York City is the economic engine of this state. While we contribute the majority of state revenue growth, we do not receive the same proportion of state funds. From fiscal year 2010 to fiscal year 2022, a period where Andrew Cuomo served as governor for almost the entire duration, state revenue grew by $48 billion. New York City alone generated 64% of that growth, or $31 billion. But when expenditures increased by $36 billion, New York City received only 42%, or $15 billion. Annually, that is an $8 billion shortfall of what our city was owed. Our city is one of multitudes, containing both incredible affluence and tremendous needs. And for too long, only half of that equation has been met. Each of these slides and the numbers they contain tell a clear story. It is the story of a city that is economically powerful and central to the success of the entire state, if not the entire country. And it is the story of a city that has been failed by its leaders of the past. Together, let us tell a new story. As we approach the preliminary budget, City Hall will do what the law requires. We will deliver a balanced budget over 2 fiscal years. We will also do, however, what former Mayor Adams never did. We will be clear and direct about our needs with Albany. Working people did not cause this crisis, and they cannot be made the victims of its solution. In my inaugural address, I made a promise. I said that we would overcome every moment of adversity together, and we would meet every moment of fiscal challenge with ambition, not austerity. That promise stands. We will not shrink from this moment. We will not succumb to small ideas. We will meet this crisis with the bold solutions it demands. That means recalibrating the broken fiscal relationship between the state and the city. And it means that the time has come to tax the richest New Yorkers and most profitable corporations. This is the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and yet we have allowed 1 in 4 New Yorkers to live in poverty. It doesn't need to be that way. We will remain in constant conversation with Governor Hochul and legislative leaders, and we will do something that too many New Yorkers have learned not to expect from City Hall. We will be honest, transparent, and we will communicate the decisions we're making and why we're making them. We have inherited a crisis from the past, New York, but it need not define our future. From this moment of hardship and chart a new course for our city. It will be difficult, but anything worth doing always is. Thank you.